KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Who is Farm Bureau Financial Services? At our core, we're relationship builders. We're home and auto bundlers, life insurers, farm and ranch protectors, and retirement planners. We're neighbors, community members, and friends. We're the people you can count on now and for years to come. Find a Farm Bureau agent at fbfs.com/protect. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
What makes the holidays the most wonderful time of the year at the Disneyland Resort? It's seeing the skies brightened with unforgettable fireworks, gathering with family for a Christmas fantasy parade, taking in the music, food, and fun of Disney Festival of Holidays, watching the dazzling world of color happiness, and so much more. It's a time filled with joy when the place you know and love is wrapped up in the holiday spirit. And it's made all the more happy during the Disneyland Resort's 70th celebration. So what are you waiting for? The holidays begin here from November 14th through January 7th. Visit Disneyland.com for important details.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Well, we thought with no Cardinals it would be a good weekend in sports here in the Valley. Not so much. Welcome in the Monday edition of the Lunch Break. Right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got 2 hours of great content for you. Producer Evans on the other side of the glass. He's ready to take your phone calls. It is a Victory Monday from Team Listener. Sure, we'll hear from them throughout the course of the show today. 480-864-1060. Not a lot of Victory Monday across the teams here in town, but a Victory Monday for Team Listener here over the weekend. I'm sure we'll get into that when we do the NFL Rewind here at the bottom of the hour. But for the second straight show, they are the Daily Special. This time, not as good as it was on Friday.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Feels like the dream is over. Feels like the idea of a repeat performance from Arizona State defending their Big 12 championship ended on Saturday with their home loss to Houston. They are 6th in the Big 12 overall. They have 2 losses in the conference already. The 2 teams right now standing atop the conference, each undefeated. They have to play each other, so one of them will at least get a loss, but it feels like a lot of teams you have to pass here over the final 4 weeks of the season in order to return back to the conference championship to defend the title that you won a year ago. And unfortunately, we asked on Friday, could Sam Leavitt be a truck? We demanded it, really. He needed it to be a truck. Unfortunately, he was not that truck on Saturday as the Sun Devils lost, snapping a 10-game home winning streak that they had. And normally I like to opine here off the top of the show and share my thoughts, but we had a source inside the building. So I like to defer to the person who was closer to the field, closer to the game than any of us, because producer Evan, it's one thing to watch the game on TV. It's one thing to, I'll be honest, I had the game on my tablet while I was out on the softball field Saturday evening with my daughter's softball team. It's one thing to watch the game and feel frustrated at the game, frustrated at the offense's performance in the first half, once again digging themselves an early hole that, yeah, you trust this team in the fourth quarter to come back and make it close. And if the game is close, you trust them to pull it through. But I think we said this at the time. You can't always live this way, especially when you were without Jordan Tyson. It's exactly what happened on Saturday, and the Sun Devils did not have an answer. That's how it felt watching the game. It felt like a team that dug themselves too early of a hole, did not have the answers. Sam Levitt did not play anywhere near the caliber of play that he needed to in order for them to win. Questions of whether or not he was banged up, injured, compromised, had to leave the game, got checked out. Jeff Sims had to play a little bit. It was a weird start to this game. But watching it, it just felt like ASU never had an answer on offense from the word go. What was the feel like in the building? You were a part of the ASU radio broadcast. How did it feel being there at Mountain America Credit Stadium?
I mean, through one quarter, I think you could kind of feel the energy completely taken out of the stadium of, oh my gosh, I've never seen a receiver have this kind of impact on one football team. And it just felt like without Jordan Tyson, they may not be able to score. And that was a real concern through halftime of, are they going to get shut out tonight? Not only are they going to lose, are they going to get shut out? There's a lot of frustrating parts. The inability to run the football is a problem. The lack of big play without Jordan Tyson on the field was a massive issue. You took your chances to Jaron Hamilton. He had a few drops. You had a pass interference call go his way at one point. By the time Sam Levitt fumbled, if you remember his fumble that went, 16, 18 yards, and then Houston fell on it. If Sam Levitt would have gathered the ball where he originally got to it, that would have been their biggest offensive play of the night at that current time. That said it all to me.
Yeah, we asked on Friday. We had 2 data points of Sam Levitt playing well without Jordan Tyson and Sam Levitt kind of fighting it without Jordan Tyson. That Iowa State game, efficiency is the word that I would use to describe the way that he played without Jordan Tyson. Was efficient. They got off to a hot start. They were able to dictate the pace, the tempo. They could play the way they wanted to play, and it led to success for Sam Levitt and for the entire program. They win a Big 12 title. In the game against Texas, not having Jordan Tyson, Texas selling out against the run, selling out against Cam Scatterbo, selling out against that part of ASU's offense, forced him to have to throw the ball early, not to a ton of success. What changed in the second half? He was able to extend plays out of the pocket, use his legs, make plays in that regard. And it ended up, they were able to come back in that game, but ultimately lost. The story of Saturday's game, at least in my mind, is you didn't get off to the hot start. You're playing catch up, and you're playing catch up with a group that, I'm sorry, just not good enough. I know Malik McClain, you look up at the stats at the end of the night, had a good game, right? Went for 157 catches, had a big game. And you look at Sam Levitt and you see the 270 passing yards and you see the 1 touchdown. I'm sorry, I don't think Sam Levitt played well enough. And you have the chaotic start of this game. You get down early, then Sam Levitt's out of the game. So now you have to hand things over to Jeff Sims. And we talked about it on Friday. Your entire offense identity changes with Sims in the game compared to Levitt. You have to completely change what you do. And it just felt like the moment that happened, I don't know if you felt this in the stadium. I felt it watching the game. The moment that happened, it felt like they're just off now offensively. They knew coming into the game, they probably felt this sense of urgency to start fast, to get into rhythm, to get into flow, to be able to run the football, get quick, easy passes to this pass catching group that We said the next 4 leading receivers on the Arizona State Sun Devil team hadn't matched the total yards of production from Jordan Tyson this season. Starting fast, getting those guys in rhythm, building their confidence, building Sam Levitt's confidence in them felt like the key to this game. And so when you start slow and Sam Levitt leaves the game for at least a little bit of time with an injury, it felt like the moment that happened, it was over. They were never able to recapture any semblance of momentum.
No, not at all. They couldn't do anything offensively. And I know the numbers for Raleek Brown say 11 carries, 64 yards, and 5.5 or 5.8 a carry. That doesn't tell the story of how efficient they were how inefficient I thought they were on the ground. I mean, this team last year had an identity of run the football, throw it when we have to, and that's part of Camp Scatterbo. But when they get into 3rd and short, this is a team that, let's face it, has been bad at situational football all year long. And they've had the playmakers to bail them out of those situations. And for 1 week this year, it came back and it bit them hard.
Couldn't get any pressure defensively. Severely missed Prince Dorba in this game. They had 1 sack. Didn't generate enough pressure to force Houston into 3rd and longs, 3rd and mediums regularly enough, and couldn't get off the field. Just couldn't do any of it, right? Just couldn't put together that complete 4-quarter performance that we've been asking for. I mean, even going into the game with the team that was 5-2, we were still looking for more. We were still asking them to finish the job and put together a complete game, where for 4 quarters you look like the dominant team that we thought you could be. And no Jordan Tyson, certainly felt like it was going to be an uphill battle to do that. But here we are 8 games into the season. And yes, there's still games to play. Yes, they could win out and go 9-3 and make a decent bowl game. And I think that would be, in any other circumstance, a quality season for the Arizona State Sun Devils. But coming off of what they did last year and where the expectations were going into this year, I do think that is going to be viewed as a failure. And maybe we have to change our expectations, but being projected to go to the Alamo Bowl or the Sun Bowl, which is what the latest projections have the Sun Devils going to after this loss and being knocked out of the top 25, that's what I saw in previous regimes. That's what I saw under different athletic directors. That's what I saw with other head coaches that are no longer here. So you told me that this coach is different, and I do believe he is different, and we're going to talk about why he's different in hour number 2 of the show today. You just wish there was a better follow-up to what they did last year. It felt like they could never get this season out of the starting gate.
That's what I was going to say. It felt like they had these problems all year long.
They've been swimming against the current all year long, and they've been staying afloat, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, if they can just get to this point, things are going to flip in the other direction. And I think Saturday was kind of the water splashing us all in the face of, don't think it's going to happen.
Everything felt so easy at times last year.
Especially in the second half.
Everything has felt like a fight for this Arizona State team.
Sam Levitt's performances have felt like a fight. This offense without Jordan Tyson has felt like you're pulling teeth to try to get anything going on that side of the ball. Defensively, at times, they have not been good, even with Prince Dorba in the starting lineup. They have not been good on that side of the ball. It is constantly something, right? Even in their wins, that win on the road against Baylor, they had to come back in that game. Didn't play well in the first half.
The TCU game, you were down 17-0.
At home. Had to come back in that game. Like this team has to put together a complete performance, and they haven't done it so far. And so it's not really a surprise when you look up and you see a team that's 5-3. Some games have gone their way that way. Others haven't.
How about Houston? This guy playing quarterback for Houston, Connor Weigman.
Can play.
He can play.
Got that toughness
He's a
about
right-handed Tim Tebow. And this guy carried the ball 21 times.
Yeah, it was a very key part of their game. There was the rush early on in the game where it was, I think, a 3rd and short.
Yes, 3rd and 2. And he takes it for like 30.
So he gets it's QB power, basically. It's just snap the ball directly to the quarterback, just follow your blockers, right? And he gets caught up in everybody gets caught up in the wash, and just all of a sudden he's out the other side of the wash and he's gone. And the only reason why he doesn't score a touchdown is he just runs out of gas.
Yeah.
Like the tank just empties and he just falls down after a huge, 30, 40-yard gainer.
No, it was Houston watched the tape from Utah. It was like, hey, we can run the quarterback, because that's what ASU struggled with.
Yeah, and, on those plays, it's just about following your assignments and as the linebackers not getting caught up in that wash, staying true to your gaps. And that was a case of just kind of found the other side, and boom, Houston gets a big play early in this game. And it just feels like for the Sun Devils, those plays are hard to come by. Feels like they have a tough time it feels like when they do have those plays, we're excited about them, obviously, but it feels like it takes a while for those plays to happen.
They lack explosion now.
And even with Jordan Tyson, because it was only Jordan Tyson that would provide that explosiveness in the passing game. And unfortunately, I do think Saturday was a hit to Sam Levitt's stock.
I agree.
I think
they're having a serious conversation about him coming back. I don't know if it's here, but you're going to come out in the draft?
I don't see a world where he declares for the draft after the year that he's having.
I don't either.
He's got 4 games plus a bowl game to change that narrative. But that's not a first-round quarterback right now. And with the depth of quarterback talent, maybe not the high ceiling guys, but a ton of floor guys, at least early on in looking at this, is he a day 2 quarterback?
We're talking about a 5th-round quarterback in this class?
You're talking about somebody who could maybe end up being, QB8, QB9, QB10 in this class?
That's where I have him in my head.
And so that all of a sudden you're worried about being a day 3 quarterback. And if that's the case, then just run it back and try to have that redemption story in your 3rd season here at ASU. But I'm selling my stock today. I'm selling the shares because
I don't blame you.
And here's why. I put it out there on Friday. I told the world, I told all of you listening to the show, this was the moment for Sam Levitt. Time to be a truck. Time to be the reason why the team wins the football game. And he wasn't. And they lost this game. And with it, I think their Big 12 championship dreams are gone. Their college football dreams are certainly gone with 3 losses. It's over. And so now we have to spend maybe the rest of this week trying to pick up the pieces and figure out what they can do with the 4 games left on their calendar, plus potentially a bowl game, what they can do with the rest of this season as a launching point for year 3 of Kenny and ASU trying to make this a reliable is not the right word I'm looking for, a consistent program that is always going to produce these types of results, that this becomes the floor for this team. But it was disappointing on Saturday because there was a moment and everybody involved didn't meet it. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. A victory Monday for you here on the show. As Matthew picked up the win for Team Listener against the show. I had a rough week in the picks. We'll get to that when we do the NFL Rewind. But when we come back, 3 games into the season, we've seen all the volatility that the Suns are going to provide us this year. We'll talk about it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the ages. An all-time tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0 going into the 4th quarter, they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they still lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN. But according to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th. Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
We believe everyone deserves access to fresh food. That's why the Kroger Company created the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program to share fresh food with the people in our communities. Our program and foundations have donated 3 billion meals since 2017. That's nearly 10 meals for every person in the U.S. Together, we can do more for our neighbors. Just round up your purchase at checkout. Fry's, fresh for everyone.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. The beauty of the NFL is teams can go from bad to good pretty quickly. However, they can go from good to bad even faster. Case in point, the Vikings. How could a team that won 14 games last year turn to garbage the very next season? I don't have enough time to count all the ways, but why don't we just start at the quarterback position? They pushed all of their chips to the center of the table with J.J. McCarthy. And as of right now, that looks like a really bad bet, especially in the short term, given they had 3 guys that they could have had that are all balling out right now. Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, who were on their roster last year, and Aaron Rodgers, who want to be on their roster this year. Instead, they roll out JJ, who plays poorly, gets hurt, and then they turn to Carson Wentz, who has played and acted like, well, Carson Wentz. Sorry about that, Skull Nation, but the NFL truly is not for long, and that window slams shut awfully quickly. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Warning, the national debt is spiraling out of control. Trade wars are causing record volatility, and inflation could make a devastating comeback. Will you sit on the sidelines and wait, or will you take action today to help protect your hard-earned retirement savings? And what if you could do it tax and penalty-free? Find out more by requesting your free 2025 Gold and Silver Kit from the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco. Plus, you could get an unlimited instant match on bonus silver if you qualify. Call 855-969-GOLD to learn more. That's 855-969-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to a championship. One of the youngest, I think they average 26 years old,
Yeah.
Rich. As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan, Gene, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think, I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The NFL Rewind, our trip around all of the football action yesterday, coming up in about 12 minutes from now. Now, Producer Evan, I don't know if we can judge this only on 3 games, but Bill Simmons and the Ringer 1, Matt Ishby a 0, I think is the way we would score it after 1 round of this fight. Because defensively, it's been a bit of an issue for the Phoenix Suns over the weekend. Gave up 129 on Friday night against the Clippers, 133 on Saturday in Denver against the Nuggets. Not the defensive performance that I think by season's end we expect to see from this Suns team. It's a pair of road losses, kind of taking away a lot of the excitement from the first win of the season. Team sits 1-2 going into tonight's game against the Utah Jazz. But that's where I want to focus here today on the show. Because trying to evaluate this Suns team this season, game by game, is very similar to reacting to one day's returns or lack thereof on the stock market. It would be like looking at your 401k today and saying, oh, market's down, take all of my money out. That's what it would be like. It is going to be extremely volatile this Suns season, I should say. There are going to be games where it looks perfect, looks awesome. Things are trending in the right direction. They get the result. It's just coaching's great. Rotations are great. The play from the young stars is great. And then there are going to be games like Friday in LA against the Clippers, like Saturday against the Nuggets, where, yeah, as a young, new team, 3 games into their NBA season, there are going to be games where they just don't have the answers defensively because they're still trying to figure it out. They don't have the secondary scoring option after Devin Booker because Jalen Green is hurt. The young players still trying to settle into their roles. 2 of the 3 rookies got in action over the weekend. Great to see that happen. But yeah, there's a feeling out process. When you talk about the stock market and the returns, when you talk about your 401k, your retirement, you don't look at it day by day. Or if you do, you try not to overreact to what you see day by day. You look at it in 6-month, 1 year, 5-year, 10-year intervals to see. And when you zoom out, if you zoom out on your retirement, if you zoom out on the stock market, if you zoom out on the NASDAQ or the S&P 500, you know what you see? You see a very steady trend upward. And those blips that you feel, that you felt on Friday, that you felt on Saturday, when the Suns lost to the Clippers, when the Suns lost to the Nuggets and gave up 129 points, 133 points, that volatility, those dips, yeah, you kind of see them in the big chart. You kind of see them, but you got to zoom in and get really, really granular to see them, to see the difference that they made. This Sun season needs to be evaluated in the macro, not the micro. This Sun season needs to be evaluated in those big, large intervals. 1 month, 3 months, first half of the season, full season. And when you zoom out, if you feel like when we hit the 1 month mark of this season that you've seen more good than bad, job accomplished. If we get to Christmas and you feel like more good than bad, more stuff on the pros than there is on the cons list, job accomplished. If we get to the first half and you think the Suns are playing better basketball when they get to the All-Star break than they did at the beginning of the season, then they're doing what they set out to do this season. And that's not to say that there isn't any value in looking at this from day to day, but just put it in its proper context. Put Friday and Saturday in the proper context of it's early in the season. This is a first-year head coach. He's trying to get a bunch of players involved, trying to, at least right now, figure out who's going to score outside of Devin Booker. Tonight, decent chance they're not going to have Dylan Brooks in this game. So it really becomes an exercise in who's going to step up to help Devin Booker out and put points in the basket. These are all the questions, and these are all the early issues that Jordan Knott and this Suns organization need to figure out. They need to be given the time to do so. Sure, 2 blowouts, 2 non-competitive games, that sucked over the weekend. But look at it in the big picture. Look at it in these big, large chunks to determine whether or not this season is going according to plan. Don't go super macro or super micro and look at individual results. Because I think if you do that, you're going to drive yourself insane.
Yeah, I think the way you laid it out to start is the exact way I would lay it out. This is maybe not a full rebuild. Obviously, they're allergic to that word.
Can't say that word.
And we are, you know what we are on the full rebuild? We're aligned.
Oh, we're in.
We're not rebuilding.
The alignment.
But this is a retool and a reassess of where they're at with a new head coach and a new roster, more or less, right? So you're not going to start and look at a startup 3 weeks into a company and say, why aren't we selling? Give it some time.
Yeah, you're not going to 3 weeks into a startup, fire the CEO, fire the chief technical officer and say, I don't like the direction this is going, let's move over. And I don't think people are doing that, but I do think there can be, because basketball is back, because we're 3 games into the season, people are excited. They liked a lot of what they saw in the second half of that game against the Kings, that they get disappointed. And that's what I'm trying to frame here today. Don't be disappointed in these individual results. Look at it from a big picture. Now, if the Suns go on a 10-game losing streak and you don't see any signs of progress, then we're going to hit the pause button and look at this and say, what's going wrong? How did we get here? How do they fix it? But 2 games against the Nuggets, who are a good basketball team, yeah, I thought they should have played better against the Clippers. But if you play great against the Jazz tonight and you find a way to win that game and you're 2-2, guess what? Hovering around 500, a little below, is kind of what we expect this team to be this year anyway.
I mean, that's right. 30.5 is the over-under. 30.5. And you take advantage of playing the Jazz tonight and you move to 2-2. It's what else did you expect? I know you didn't want the losses to look that bad, and more importantly, I know you didn't want the losses to be as high scoring as they were. And I think that's the major concern.
Yeah, you see the number of points that were scored, and you're like, wait a minute. I was sold an idea of a better defensive-minded team. Now, yeah, if this is happening in the second half of the season, be concerned. But and right now, I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm giving them excuses, but 3 games in, they get the excuses.
They do.
We're going to talk a little bit later on in the show about a player that doesn't get excuses because they're in year 7. A coach that doesn't really get a ton of excuses because he's in year 3 trying to earn a year 4. This is game 3 of year 1. Guess what? You get the excuse of, we got some new players on this team. We got some young players that we're putting into more elevated roles. Give us the time to work this out. You get that excuse. Do you get that excuse game 79, 80, 81 late in the season? I'm not sure I'm going to give you the excuse to the extent I'm giving it to you right now, but you get that excuse.
But the concern of 3 straight 70-point first halves to open the season, I understand people pumping the brakes and saying, hey, we were sold on a different idea of Suns basketball, and it doesn't look different. Now, there's probably a way to say, hey, Sacramento came out and they were shooting the ball well in that first half, and that's probably why they had the big offensive explosion. And you come out the next night and, again, same thing, right? Clippers are shooting the ball well. That's probably why they had the big first half. Nuggets weren't shooting the ball that well, relatively speaking, to score 70 in a first half.
It's one of those things where as the season progresses, if it continues to be an issue, then yeah, I think it becomes a problem and it becomes something that we evaluate that maybe they got this wrong. Maybe they picked the wrong players. But I can't go there 3 games into the season. I can't go there when they're missing one of the players that I think is key and instrumental to all of this. And by the way, if Dillon Brooks doesn't play tonight, let's just call it what it is. If Dillon Brooks doesn't play tonight, are you going to be surprised if the Jazz score 115, 120, 125 points? No. Because you're down Jalen Green, you're down Dillon Brooks, you're playing a bunch of young guys. Yeah, it's going to look clunky. You got a new coach installing a new system. It's going to take time. And again, the context matters. Dillon Brooks is one of the better defenders on this team. If he doesn't play tonight because he's dealing with an injury, then that changes the way you have to go into the game tonight. You can't go in saying, you know what? They're going to just put on a clinic defensively. Like the Portland Trailblazers. Have you seen what the Trailblazers are doing?
I have not seen
the Portland Trailblazers. I saw this stat this morning. The Portland Trailblazers last year, do you know who was the highest percentage in terms of pressing inbound passes?
I'm assuming Portland.
It was the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
12.7%. Portland so far this season, 24% pressure rate, like pressing on inbound. And their defensive efficiency is through the roof right now. Now, can you do that over the course of a long season? Is that number going to stay at 24%? No, but they are making it very difficult.
And let's not run from the fact Portland's had a tough start to the year.
And I will tell you this. The other thing about Portland, too, is last year Portland's team is kind of everything you wanted the Suns to be. Young, athletic, hungry, playing hard on both ends of the floor, flying around for loose balls. So not necessarily the worst model to follow.
Big win they had the other night against Golden State. They smashed Golden State.
They're an interesting team, and they're dealing with, obviously, the Chauncey Billups stuff off the court. But Portland picked up their first win of the season. Thiago Splitter got his first win as a. Now, does that counts as he's been named the interim head coach? So
that's a win.
That counts as for his head coaching record, right? Even though he's the interim.
Yeah.
So he's 1-0.
Certainly, right? Has to.
He's 1-0 he's got that was his first win as a head coach.
Undefeated as head coach.
Well, I don't know that. Did he coach?
No, because Billups coached the first game. Oh wait, no.
He didn't coach on Friday. So he coached on.
So he's 1-1.
So yeah, let's back up here, right? The Trailblazers overall are 1-2.
Currently 1-2. Yes, they played tonight. They played the Lakers.
So they won on Friday the 24th, and they lost. So he's 1-1 as a head coach. He's 1-1. Billups coached the opener which they lost to Minnesota. And then I think everything hit the fan. And then Splitter's been the coach for the last 2. So he's 1-1 as a head coach, 500 as a head coach. Back to the Suns. Play Utah tonight. Probably going to be without Dillon Brooks, something to keep an eye on. And again, change your expectations for this team defensively with that in mind if he doesn't play tonight. And also understand this is going to look a little weird until Jalen Green comes back. This is not exactly the way this thing is designed. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also chat away over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, we recap all of the Sunday action across the NFL. We call it the NFL Rewind. Got it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
If you could rewind 10 years, what would you do differently? Buy Apple stock at $20? Skip the Ghost Pepper Challenge? Maybe even rethink the skinny jeans. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Some regrets are harmless, termite damage isn't. You can't go back in time, but you can keep termites from eating your future. Call 602-BLUE-SKY today for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
Every day begins with the promise of something new. A new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with the patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
James out west.
Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run. The home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next guy.
Naming a random MLB player that had a really good career.
Yeah, dude, I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
It's going to be a fun week of buy or sell here on the program because at some point throughout the week, I'm going to have to try to figure out if the takes have come directly from ChatGPT. stemming off of a conversation that we had on Friday. Now, because I had to remind producer Evan of it this morning, I'm going to guess that Monday's edition of Buy or Sell is going to be directly the hottest takes from producer Evan. That's coming up about 10 minutes or so from now. In the meantime, speaking of producer Evan, he's got to take us around the NFL. He is our tour guide. The NFL Rewind, all of the Week 8 action. We try to recap it. Where are we going first?
We start in Atlanta, where the world was wrong on Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins lay it on the Falcons, 34-10 Dolphins.
Doesn't this feel like just delaying the inevitable? Doesn't it?
Tua, 20 of 26 for 205 and 4.
We'll talk about this in hour number 2 of the program. There was a great story in The Athletic from Mike Sando this morning, looking at 4 different coaches across the league that are on the hot seat. And you can guess why it's going to open up hour number 2 of the show for us. You can guess one of the 4. But Mike McDaniel was one of them. And it just looked at his couple of years there in Miami. I still think they move on at the end of the season, even if he gets some more results, because I do think they need a fresh start. But the story did make me at least reconsider my position just a little bit.
How many years has he been there?
I believe it is 6.
6 years.
Let me pull up the story. We're going to
been in the playoffs 3 times, 2 times?
If you can filibuster for maybe another 25, 30 seconds, I could pull up the chart that has all the information.
They've had years where they were the most efficient offense I have ever seen. And then they've had years like this one where they just can't get off the ground floor. And if you believe in the coach, then I think you believe the quarterback's the issue.
This is year 4 for McDaniel. He went 9-8 in 22, 11-6 in 23, 8-9 last year, and now this year he's off to a 2-6 start.
Just the one playoff start?
Only the one playoff appearance, and they lost that playoff game.
Got smashed in Buffalo.
The other part of it too is he's supposed to be an offensive-minded guy. Here is the ranks for the Dolphins EPA per play on offense in his 4 years: 8th, 3rd, 23rd, and 20th.
Yeah.
The offense has fallen off a cliff. Now,
worse.
Is it a chicken and the egg conversation? Is it McDaniel? Is it Tua? Like, it could be a combination of the two, but the offense has become a problem. And this year it also has the 27th ranked defense in EPA per play.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not a Tua believer. I don't know if it's Mike McDaniel's fault, but I certainly think he's part of the problem. Moving on. The New York Jets.
Yeah, baby.
Happy Victory Monday for you, Chris.
Yes.
1-7 New York Jets squeak one out in a 23-point fourth quarter. They beat the Bengals 39-38.
I'm not just saying this because they're my team. Most entertaining game of the day.
Certainly.
Final score 39-38. 23 points scored in the fourth quarter by the Jets. A back-and-forth second half. Aaron Glenn's first win. The season is over for the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't lose at home to an 0-7 football team. You can't give up 23 points in the fourth quarter. The Jets had 502 yards of total offense. Unacceptable from the Bengals defense.
That is, by the way, that's back-to-back weeks where we've had a team score in the fourth quarter and lose the game while up 3 scores or 2 or 3 scores. Right, because the Giants scored 14 points in the fourth quarter last week.
Gave up 33 and lost.
And gave up 33 and lost. So, crazy games back-to-back weeks. The Browns went to New England and got shelled. Drake definitely 18 of 24, 282, 3 touchdowns, and his MVP case continues on.
I'm just going to take the victory lap. That should have been the first quarterback taken in that draft class. He is, and I'm not saying this to be hot take radio guy, he's worlds ahead of Caleb Williams. Worlds. Look at what the Bears did yesterday, losing to a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team. And then look at what New England did and Drake May did against a good Cleveland defense. Didn't allow that game to be competitive. Didn't allow it to be close. Took care of business.
The New York Giants, trying to win 2 against the Eagles this year, fall short. They lose 38-20. Jalen Hurts threw for 4 touchdowns. Saquon with his best game of the year, 14 carries for over 150 and a touchdown.
So much in this game, right? Eagles get their revenge from losing on Thursday night against the Giants. Yesterday, I think we saw the end of the tush push as a play. I think the Giants getting hosed on that fumble recovery from Kayvon Thibodeau on the tush push play is going to be the thing that ends this. because if the officials aren't going to be able to call that correctly, then they just have to get rid of the play. Not because I think it's unfair that the Eagles run it. If the officials aren't going to officiate it correctly, it's just a bad play to have for anybody to use.
The officiating across the league, and I don't want to be this guy, it feels exceptionally bad. There's a few plays in that Eagles game. They had an inadvertent whistle during a field goal.
They called back a Bucs touchdown in the afternoon slate
that
because of a whistle.
Because of an inadvertent whistle.
Nobody heard a whistle?
Yeah, so strange.
Yeah, it was bad. And then the other part of this game, and I didn't mention it at the top when I invoked his name, but the unfortunate injury to Cam Scatterbo, a dislocated ankle, and just have no idea what
one of the worst looking injuries I've seen. I mean, the Kevin Ware-esque, if you remember that one.
And not surprising that Cam, probably the adrenaline, but just always in good spirits.
Yeah.
Like even getting carted off the field still has that Cam Scatterbo smile and telling his teammates. And by the way, you want to talk about the impact a teammate can have on an entire organization? Did you see the entire bench for the Giants cleared to go meet Cam Scatterbo on the field when they were putting him on the cart? That's a rookie that had that type of impact on his teammates. That's a huge loss, both talent-wise for this team, culture-wise for this team. It hurts the development of Jackson Dart because he's now down Malik Neighbors. He's down Cam Scatterbo. A huge blow to this Giants team.
I want to talk about that real quick. Dart looks like the guy.
Right, but
now it hurts. I still think they should trade for a receiver. Doesn't need to be a top guy, but somebody that I know can help develop my young quarterback. Maybe that's a conversation for a different day. But if I'm the Giants, I'm looking at trading for a receiver.
Yeah, if the rumors about Brian Thomas Jr. being available in Jacksonville are true, I'm doing it if I'm the Giants.
Yeah, certainly. You certainly think about it.
I'm calling the Saints and seeing what they want for Chris Olave. I'm having those conversations because I cannot afford, especially if I'm Brian Daboll, the development of Jackson Dart and the way he plays over the final 9 games is going to determine whether or not I have a job next season.
And knowing that a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., a guy like Chris Olave, I have years of control, right? I'm not getting somebody on a 1-year deal who's going to walk on me. I have him, right? So I'm more willing to give up the pick.
Yeah.
The Bills played Bryce Young-less Panthers, and Bryce Young seems to be the answer because the Bills 40-9 over the Panthers.
We can't turn the ball over 3 times against the Buffalo Bills and expect to win. I mean, that's really the story here. You lose the turnover battle 3-0. Like, yeah, the score's going to look like that against that team. That's all I have. 3. You can't
there's nothing else to say.
You can't turn the ball over 3 times against that team and expect to even be close.
The Bears.
Oh, this is
tough one.
This is the worst. This is the worst loss of the weekend.
A no Lamar Ravens team. They fall 30-16 in Baltimore.
First of all, Baltimore plays games all week with Lamar's injury status, and the NFL is taking a very close look at that. But they're 1-5, and you lose to that team? If you're the Bears, it's a bad loss for Caleb and the Bears.
The 49ers.
Oh, the Civic, it broke down on the highway. We lost some tires.
Went to Houston and lost. The Texans moved to 3-4 with a 26-15 win at home over the Niners.
The always reliable Honda Civic, the check engine light came on Sunday. We got to get that thing in a shop. We got to figure it out. I don't know what happened. And on the other side, perhaps the Texans have found something. Stroud's played well the last 2 games.
I was just about to say that 30 of 39 yesterday, the 2 touchdowns. Listen, Stroud was good yesterday. He was efficient. That was the first time I've seen him be efficient in a long time.
That's my fantasy quarterback who I benched. Since I've benched him, he's played well. So maybe he's got to draw back in the starting lineup.
How about sit him back in the bench?
Well, when my new starter, which we'll get to here in a little bit, is an MVP candidate, it's hard to justify putting Stroud back in the lineup.
The Pinnacle Pioneer couldn't get it done against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 23-3, the Bucs crush the Saints in New Orleans.
So we've already heard from Matthew today on a Victory Monday. I knew we would. He said, this is early. This is like the beginning of the show. Told you fellas, Spencer Rattler is abysmal. The fact he's played 14 NFL games is an embarrassment to not only the Saints, but the entire NFL. Now, listen, you can say whatever you want. It's a Victory Monday. You deserve that opportunity. I don't fully agree that it is an embarrassment to the league that he's playing. Have you seen some of the other quarterbacks?
Maybe to the Saints?
But yeah, it's Tyler Shuck time.
Yeah. He got some reps late in that game. Just roll with him. Another we just referenced it, but I the Winfield thing. To take a touchdown away from a defensive player is like the meanest thing I've ever seen.
Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. The Broncos in the old orange crush the Cowboys 44-24. Walloped them in Denver.
Remember what I said on Friday? That I don't think this game's going to change my opinion of either team?
Yeah.
My opinion of these two teams remains unchanged. The Cowboys' defense is a problem. If the Denver Broncos can score 40 points after looking the way they did the last 2 weeks on offense, the Dallas defense continues to be a problem. And Denver, you beat Dallas. That's not a resume-building victory for you.
No. The one thing that you are excited for as a Denver fan, Bo Nix, probably his best game, maybe as a pro.
Yeah,
I know it's against Dallas, but maybe his best game as a pro.
He was all right.
The Titans travel to the Temple of Doom.
Fantasy quarterback.
And it was bad. 38-14
Should have made it my
Colts.
3-point play.
Jonathan Taylor, 12 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns on the floor. Really, this is going to shape up to be a legendary season from Jonathan Taylor.
The Indianapolis Colts, the 1 seed, the New England Patriots, the 2 seed. We got in a time machine and we traveled back to 2010. We got Peyton Manning and Tom Brady dueling it out. The top of the AFC standings.
The early 2010s called. They want their playoffs back.
Incredible.
The Packers head to Pittsburgh in the Raji revenge game, and it didn't go his way. 25 points for the Steelers. Packers, 35. Packers get a win on the road in Pittsburgh. Jordan Love, super efficient. 29 of 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's the best team in the NFC. The Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC. Every week, I think they continue to prove it. Now, that Dallas game, the tie, hurts them. Losing in Cleveland the way that they did hurts them. But they have been incredibly impressive. And Jordan Love, I know there were maybe some concerns at the end of last year of, what really is Jordan Love? I think we know now. Jordan Love is one of the premier quarterback talents in the league. That is your Week 8 NFL Rewind. When we come back, a no-huddle edition, a hurry-up edition of Buy or Sell when we come back. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters and we kept signing people to contracts and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract. Play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The Hondo Rodeo Fest is back November 7th through the 9th at Chase Field. 3 nights of World Championship Rodeo and 3 nights at the hottest country of rock, Kid Rock.
Sipping whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow. Singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer long.
Jason Aldean.
Oh, come on, whiskey drink.
Nickelback.
This is how you remind me of what I really am.
John Party.
Might have a little dirt on my boots, but I'm taking you uptown tonight.
Riley Green and Treaty Oak Revival. Don't wait, this is your last chance to be a part of the fun. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.com. When the dirt settles, the stage explodes with music's biggest names, all in one arena. One weekend, one unforgettable experience. Time is running out. Buy your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit thehondoRodeoFest.com. That's thehondoRodeoFest.com.
To everyone counting down the days until pumpkin season, your wait is finally over.
The Salted Caramel Pumpkin Concrete Mixer and Pumpkin Spice Shake are back at Culver's for a limited time. And because nothing beats the real thing, every scoop of fresh frozen custard is made with farm-fresh dairy, and every bite is filled with real pumpkin puree. So come visit us at Culver's, or order ahead in the app or online, and fall in love with these pumpkin desserts all over again.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious. To everyone who believes in magic, let our team member Teppy tell you how we do it at Culver's.
We're not talking about card tricks or disappearing acts. Wow. This is the kind of magic that transforms real farm-fresh dairy into world-class Wisconsin cheese. We're talking about Midwest magic. It's about handcrafting every meal with love, because at Culver's, we want every bite to be turned into a smile. Order ahead in the app or online and come taste the magic for yourself.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
All right, the hurry-up edition of Buy or Sell to close up hour number one. We'll talk about Jonathan Gannon and the pressure that he faces going into the second half of the season at the top of the hour. But producer Evan, hottest takes in the Valley. You've got them for me.
The defense.
Potentially from AI.
The defense.
You may have pulled a fast one on me.
The defense is still a massive problem for the Suns.
I'm going to sell this. I'm going to stay true to what I said in the second segment of the show. 3 games in, they are allowed to have the excuses. I know people don't want to hear the excuses because they're tired of watching this team fall short. But guess what? Brian Gregory is now in charge. He wasn't in charge previously. Jordan Ott was in a different organization. Those two don't get blamed for the failings of others. I'm sorry, I won't do it. At some point, it will flip and the failings then belong to them. 3 games in is not that time.
ASU season is still considered a disappointment if they go 9-3 and win a bowl game.
Why? Because I have to be true to my word. Just like I was in the last take, I have to be true to my word. I said this team being in the mix for a Big 12 championship game at the end of the season is the bar they have to clear. I don't think we're going to be there. They're going to play the last week of the season, and they're probably already going to be mathematically eliminated from competing for a Big 12 championship.
If you are not going to be in the playoff, you're not going to compete. I want you in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
It's fair.
The Pop-Tart Bowl is awesome.
I mean, I'd like I like these high-profile bowl games, but yes, I think
the Pop-Tart Bowl is arguably one of the better ones, not actually in the playoffs.
I was just going to say the Pop-Tart Bowl might be high-profile.
I know. The Cardinals should be able to score 30-plus this week against the Cowboys.
I mean, it feels like everybody scores 30-plus against the Cowboys, right? Broncos scored 44. How many did the Packers score? The Giants with Russell Wilson scored 30-something. Everybody scores against the Dallas Cowboys.
And the Cardinals.
I'll be positive because I'm about to be negative for the whole second hour of the show. So we'll be positive here and say bye. Yes, they will.
It is going to be, first of all, it'll be interesting to see how many they're going to need to score to win this game. This is a real test of how good your defense is.
I'm going to pull this up real quick because I don't know the answer. Do you know what's the lowest point total the Cowboys have allowed this season? I don't want you to look it up. It's more of I want to see if you can guess the answer because I don't know the answer either.
The lowest point total?
Yeah.
I think it's the Eagles in week 1, 24. After the delay.
So I have to look at this in order here. They allowed 24. No, it's 22 to the Jets and the Commanders. That's it. That's the lowest amount of points that they've allowed. They allowed 40 to the Packers.
44 this week.
They allowed 44 this week. They allowed 37 to the Giants. They allowed 31 to the Bears. 24 to the Eagles. Panthers scored 30 on them.
Yeah. No, it's not great.
No, it's not great at all.
You have to score 30 this week.
You have to score 30.
The Cowboys are going to put up 27. The way that offense has been rolling previously to this week.
You've got to score 30, and maybe we'll unpack this as the week progresses. If you don't, boy, is that a problem.
A massive issue.
That's a huge problem.
The World Series will go all 7 games.
Certainly feels that way with the way the first 2 went. What a performance from Yamamoto in Game 2. Complete game, allowed just the 1 run. The Dodgers certainly needed it with the barrage they were under in Game 1 of the series. Blue Jays hitting a ton of home runs, hit a grand slam. What was it, a 9-run inning?
Yeah.
Broke the game open for them.
That'll take me into my last one. Blake Snell's overrated.
You've been waiting all day to take that victory lap after the way that he pitched in Game 1 on Friday. Game 3 tonight, it is Max Scherzer, Tyler Glasnow, your pitching matchup to start Game 3 tonight. Nice 5 o'clock start there for World Series Game 3.
Need a vintage Max Scherzer start. You got one in Seattle.
You have to win one of these 3 games to force it back to Toronto. Why not tonight? Why not get it out of the way and start playing with house money?
Yep. You can't. I also think, gosh, it's going to be hard to beat them 2 times in a row at the end.
So that's why you got to start with a win tonight. Opens up a lot of different opportunities. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Thanks for hanging out with us. When we come back, second half starts a week from tonight. Is it all eyes on Jonathan Gannon? That's next. A lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
Let's watch a movie.
And we have Netflix included to enjoy our favorite shows and movies.
¿Qué tal esta? Buenísima, pero ya la vi.
Now the hard part is getting them to agree on a movie.
Switch today and get the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI, all on the best network in the U.S. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025.
Millions of fans agree this Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. November 30th, 2 shows, 3 and 7:30 p.m. PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, presented by 100.7 KSLX.
Fulton Homes celebrates Veterans Day by honoring the Pat Tillman Foundation and their nearly 1,000 Tillman Scholars. Now through Veterans Day, Fulton Homes and the Big Red Radio will honor a different Tillman Scholar and share their story. Fulton Homes is proud to support the Pat Tillman Foundation with a donation in honor of each weekly scholar. The Pat Tillman story is well known, and his principles and service are his true legacy. The Pat Tillman Foundation carries forward that legacy by giving service members, veterans, and military spouses who embody those principles the education, support, and leadership tools they need to reach their fullest potential. This Veterans Day, join Fulton Homes at 98 KUPD as we honor and salute the Pat Tillman Foundation and their Tillman Scholars. For more information on the Fulton Homes Veterans Day Honor Roll, go to 98kupd.com/honor roll and join the salute.
Want something fast and fresh for lunch? Try the Peter Piper Pizza All-You-Can-Eat Weekday Lunch Buffet. Available from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday, Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet is loaded with delicious pizza, fresh chopped salad, garlic cheese bread, and our famous cinnamon crunch dessert. Our dough is made from scratch every day and topped with real mozzarella cheese and the freshest ingredients. For the best all-you-can-eat pizza and salad lunch buffet in town, head to Peter Piper Pizza from 11 to 2 every Monday through Friday. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
Got hail damage or any damage? Dynasty Collision is here to help, and we're even covering part of your deductible. Thousands are skipping repairs because of cost, but you don't have to. Call Dynasty Collision today, 602-529-3304. That's 602-529-3304.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 here of the lunch break, right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert hanging out with you. Producer Evan, he's on the other side of the glass. You can always watch the program over on KDUS AM 1060's YouTube channel. We're going to talk about Brian Kelly being fired over at LSU. And yes, that story actually matters here in town to all of us here that are a part of this show. I'll tell you why in about 15 minutes or so from now. But a week from tonight, the Arizona Cardinals will begin the second half of their season, returning from the bye week. They play the Dallas Cowboys, as we mentioned, in buy or sell, and that will start the final 10 games of this season, the unofficial second half, if we're splitting it into pre-buy and post-buy. And the Cardinals at 2-5, a lot of us are asking a lot of questions as to how they got into this mess. Can they get out of this mess? And the question that I want to dive into right now, if they can't get out of this mess, what are the repercussions? Who pays the price for a team missing the mark the way the Cardinals are trending to this season. And so that leads us to the head coach, Jonathan Gannon, and a question of how hot the seat is for JG. His name did come up in the Athletic story that I referenced in hour number 1 of the show from Mike Sando. And he looked at 4 coaches. And the 4 coaches that he looked at were Brian Daboll, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McDaniel, and Jonathan Gannon. And the reason why he looked at all 4 of them isn't just because they're under a microscope, not just because the seat may be warm to scalding hot for these 4 coaches, but these 4 coaches do have something in common, as he puts at the top of his column. Daboll, Stefanski, McDaniel, and Gannon have all had underperforming expensive quarterbacks on the books, but their situations are not the same. Here's why some might not be in trouble at all. And he goes through all 4 of the coaches and evaluates each of their scenarios. And it's true that all 4 have had underperforming expensive quarterbacks with their contracts on the books. And it is fair to look at them separately because not all of those situations are the same. Brian Daboll in New York, they chose to extend Danny Dimes with that 2-year contract, and it didn't work out. Mike McDaniel was there and got that contract extension. They made that choice. Kevin Stefanski, how much say did he really have in trading for and extending with the fully guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson? None, really, when you consider that the owner basically has multiple times said it's not on Kevin, it's not on Andrew Berry. Basically admitting to, as Mike Sando points out in the piece, that it was the owner who wanted to do that and got some pushback from those in the football operations department. Jonathan Gannon, they did not sign Kyler Murray to that contract extension. They inherited that contract. And really, truthfully, this offseason is the first realistic offseason where you could get out of that contract without harming your future self. So 4 coaches, 4 quarterback contracts, 4 different circumstances. Now, I think when looking at these 4 coaches, there are different levels of hot seat. I don't think Kevin Stefanski's on a hot seat in Cleveland. Doesn't feel like it to me. Brian Daboll, certainly, I can see the pathway out for him. If Jackson Dart can continue to improve, and at the end of the season, there is no doubt about it, we've got our quarterback. I think Daboll is here to stay, to be the coach, the offensive mind for Jackson Dart in year 2. McDaniel, I think, is as good as gone. I think that win yesterday was just kicking the can down the road. That leads us to Gannon. 2-5 in a year in which they were supposed to be a playoff team. That was the expectation around this squad. Losing games that they should not have lost in the early part of the season. Losing to teams like Tennessee that, as the season progresses for Tennessee, doesn't that loss just get more and more inexcusable? As Tennessee's season moves on and you see the way that they played against Indy, and you know what you did against Indy, you know that you almost beat Indy, you had Indy on the ropes, you had a lead in the 4th quarter against Indy. They beat Tennessee by 24 points yesterday? And you lost to Tennessee the way that you did? The more the Tennessee season continues, it's just more inexcusable that the Cardinals aren't at least 3-4 coming out of the bye week. So what does Jonathan Gannon's breakdown look like? Well, he's had the less amount of time in a city compared to those other coaches, but here are just what the numbers say for Jonathan Gannon. In 2023, his offense ranked 21st in EPA per play. His defense ranked 32nd. Now, all of us have given that first year as a pass when they went 4-13. Got to get in there, got to evaluate, got to figure out what's good about the current infrastructure, what's bad about the current infrastructure, what's good about the roster, what's bad about the roster. What areas do I need to address right away? What areas can I maybe take some more time to evaluate? That's what year 1 is about. Year 2, well, you see improvements. They were 9th in EPA per play on offense, 23rd on the defensive side of the ball, and it led to an 8-9 record. So an improvement in efficiency on both sides of the ball allowed them to go from 4 wins to 8 wins, to double their wins in 1 year. That leads us to this year. The offense has taken a step back, went from 9th to 15th in EPA per play, so basically a middle-of-the-road NFL offense. Their defense has slightly improved from 23rd to 21st in EPA per play. Overall, in those 3 seasons, it's an average of the 15th EPA per play on offense, the 31st EPA per play on defense that leads Jonathan Gannon to having a 14-27 record. As part of the piece, there's some comments from some executives across the league. This is what an executive said about Jonathan Gannon. Quote, Arizona is a team to watch just because of expectations plus circumstances like the sideline blow-up, which can speed it up a little bit. They are building a new facility for 2027, and the quarterback said he hopes he's there to see it, and everybody laughed. You can't keep starting over, though, too. It's just hard, end quote. I thought that quote was interesting that the executive brought up the sideline explosion that led to the $100,000 fine that the Cardinals gave to Jonathan Gannon when he kind of shoved Emari DeMercado after he fumbled the ball through the end zone. I'm surprised that an executive thought that much of that moment that made it a part of his quote, that it was brought up at all. To many of us here on the show, we talked about it, and we kind of moved on from it. The Cardinals levied their fine, and we thought it was going to be a thing of the past. Perhaps there maybe is more to it. I'd like to see the way the team finishes and seeing if there are signs of losing the locker room. It doesn't feel like that is the case. But that's the way it looks for Jonathan Gannon through the first 3 years of his career. Now, Mike Sando has one other graphic, and it's where I want to lead the conversation next. Producer Evan, I want to bring you in here because I want to know if you knew this before I talked about it. The best point differential for 2 and 5 teams since 2016. So the last 9-10 seasons. The best point differential for 2 and 5 teams, so meaning they started the year winning only 2 of their first 7 games. The best, the 2022 Jaguars, who started 2 and 5. They had a point differential of plus 18 in those first 7 games. They finished the year 9 and 8, and they made the playoffs. The 2018 Indianapolis Colts, they had a point differential of plus 4 despite starting 2 and 5. They finished the year 10 and 6. They also made the playoffs. Next up, it's a tie. The 2019 Chargers with a -1 differential, they finished 5 and 11. The other team, the 2025 Arizona Cardinals, who have a -1 point differential through their first 7 games, and obviously their record is to be determined. The other teams on the list, the 2024 Saints, -3, they finished 5 and 12. The 2016 Panthers, they finished with a -5 point differential through their first 7 games. They had a final record of 6 and 10. What this chart is attempting to explain is, yeah, I know they're 2 and 5, but look, they're close. These games are competitive. A bounce of the ball here, a bounce of the ball there, and they could be the 2018 Colts who made the playoffs. They could be the 2022 Jaguars who made the playoffs. The problem I have with that is it's not understanding what has happened in just the last 3 games in the fourth quarter when this team has lost close games. Is that factoring in 3 times that you had a lead of 7 points or more going into the fourth quarter and you blew it? Did the Jags have that in 2022? Did the Colts have that in 2018? The answer is no, because the Cardinals are the only team in the history of the sport to lose 3 consecutive games when leading by 7 or more points going into the fourth quarter. How about another statistic for you? How about a Arizona team? I saw this in the story, the Mike Sando story. It's only the 3rd time in league history a team has lost 5 consecutive games by less than 5 points each time. Those are statistics that if this is year 1 of a regime, you say, okay, the breaks aren't going their way. They got to learn how to do the job. They'll figure it out. It's year 3. You're supposed to win those close games. Those are supposed to be the games that go your way so you do finish 9 and 8, so that you do finish 10 and 6, and you make the postseason. Now it would be, I guess, 10 and 7, because now we play 17 games. But you get my point. That is a very glass half full approach to a team that right now I don't think deserves a glass half full approach. They have failed in the fourth quarter. They have failed specifically on the side of the ball where Jonathan Gannon is supposed to be an expert. That's supposed to be the side of the ball that you don't worry about. And so far through 3 years, they've had a below league average defense all 3. They had the worst defense in the year in 2023, and they've had below average defenses each of the last 2 seasons. They're 21st in efficiency on the defensive side of the ball this year. That is not the improvement from last year that this team needed. So how hot is the seat? How warm is the seat under Jonathan Gannon? I think it's very warm. And I think these next 10 games are going to tell us if there is a defensive turnaround, if they finish these games, if they come out on Monday against Dallas and we see an offense that does score 30 points like we mentioned in buy or sell, and they do win some of these close games. Because let's face it, they could play some close games in the second half and the results could break their way. But you know what? They get Dallas, Seattle on the road, Tampa on the road, Houston on the road. They got to play the Rams again. They got to play San Francisco and Jacksonville. If they can't win the close games against Tennessee, if they can't win the close games when you have a lead against a good team like Indy, a good team like Green Bay at home, how do you expect them to win any of these games in the second half? So I think the seat is very warm because, unfortunately, in year 3, this goes back to our Suns conversation in hour number 1 of the program. You don't get the excuses of, yeah, but they have a -1 point differential in those games. There is no excuse when you're 2-5. You're not supposed to be 2-5. You're supposed to have beaten Tennessee to be at least 3-4. You're supposed to win one of the 2 games in which you have a lead late against Indy and Green Bay. You should win a game on the road against a shorthanded San Francisco team. We really should be talking about a 5-2 football team. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to chalk all of that up to the bounce of the ball not going their way, the luck not going their way. They're not finishing games. And I'm sorry, that's a reflection of the coach when we get to year 3. So how hot is the seat? Very hot. Am I giving this team the benefit of the doubt? No, I am not. Do I think this is going to be as simple at the end of the year of putting all of the blame on Kyler Murray and running it back with Gannon and Monty and letting them pick a quarterback? I don't think so. These next 10 games, I've got to see something. I've got to see something that so far through 41 games, I haven't seen from a Jonathan Gannon coached Cardinals team. I got to see you finish. I got to see 10 games where you finish. And you know what? If you go 8-9 and you miss the postseason, there may be a world where I'm willing to let you put it all on Kyler. But you know what? It's not Kyler's fault you lost in the fourth quarter against Green Bay. It's not Kyler's fault you lost in the fourth quarter against Indy because he wasn't under center. So that excuse doesn't work for me. That excuse falls on deaf ears a little bit for me. There's more than just one player, one coach, one reason why all of this is happening. But yet here we are, a week from the second half of the season starting, and I think unlike Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, unlike Brian Daboll in New York, I think Jonathan Gannon is on the hot seat and should be on the hot seat because of the way this first half played out.
You want to hear something interesting? The other 2-5 teams to make the playoffs, you told it, 2018 Colts, the 2022 Jaguars. You know what those teams have in common?
That's at least since 2016, I should say.
But do you want to hear what those 2 teams have in common?
I don't know what those 2 teams have in common.
The 2018 Colts, that was their first year under Frank Reich. You give them 7 weeks to gel. They go on the run, finish 10-6, make the playoffs.
Is 22 the first year
of
with
Doug Peterson?
So it's a first-year coach bump.
It's a first-year head coach.
With an offensive mind who you accept the early the early failures because, it takes some time for you to get it right. So guess what? You want to talk about the Suns. The Suns are more the 2018 Colts and the 2022 Jags than they are the 2025 Cardinals.
Certainly.
If we just want to...
That's my point. These are first year or first time with the team head coaches.
Can you look up the other 3 teams? Can you tell me the 2019 Chargers? Can you tell me the 2024 Saints? The 24 Saints, I think, was Dennis Allen's second season. And then the 2016 Panthers. I want to know how many of these are first-year head coaches.
And the 2016 Panthers?
2016 Panthers. Yeah,
that's still got to be Ron Rivera post-Super Bowl, right?
2016? Probably. 2019 Chargers, 24 Saints, 16 Panthers. I just want to know the coaches of those 3 teams and if they were year 1. I don't think they were.
All right, 16 Panthers is still Ron Rivera.
Okay, so that's late in his tenure, and that's when things are starting to fall off a cliff.
The 24 Saints.
This is Dennis Allen, I believe.
And that was not. That's actually his 3rd year as the head coach in New Orleans.
But it's not Dennis Allen year 1. It's Dennis Allen like into his tenure. Yeah.
Yep.
And the 19 Chargers it's not Staley. Staley's after that.
Yeah, so it's Anthony Lynn, and that was his third year as the head coach.
So
I don't remember Anthony Lynn at all.
So how about this? The Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon is in his 3rd season. Did Anthony Lynn get fired at the end of 2019? Or did he get 2020?
Anthony, that's a good question. Give me 2 seconds.
Did Dennis Allen get next season? I don't need you to look that one up because I know who the coach is in 2025.
Anthony Lynn did get 2020.
So he did get, after going 5-11, he did get another year.
Yes.
5-12 for Dennis Allen. He did not get another year after 2014. And was 2017. Ron Rivera was still there in 17, wasn't he?
Ron Rivera was still there in 17, correct.
So only one of those three teams below the Cardinals fired their coach, and it was the 24 Saints. I don't know, man.
With that being said, I just give you a little. The year prior to that year in 2016, Carolina was in the Super Bowl.
No. I was just asking if that year, that year's results led to a change. And with Dennis Allen, it did. But it didn't with the other two.
It's interesting.
And this is why I think there's pressure. Results start to matter. Year one and year two, the results, okay. Yeah, as a fan, you want to see the team win. Yeah, you don't want to hear that we're building towards something. You want immediate results. I get it. But you have to look at these things in a big picture. And so you're willing to do that in year one and year two. At least I was. I'm not willing to do it in year three. I'm not willing to do it with the investments you made on the defensive side of the ball and where you chose to run this offense back. That's on you. You don't get to now at the end of the season say, quarterback stunk. We needed to throw him under the bus. You chose to do nothing with the offense, to run it back, to not change the play caller, to not change anything. That then becomes your responsibility. Its failings then become your problem. And that's why over the next 10 weeks, I got to see something. Show me the signs of the coach that I thought I was getting here in year three. Show me the signs of the team I thought I was getting in year three. Playoffs, probably not going to happen. But you want to save your job? You want me to say to the listeners of this program, to all of you, that this regime deserves the keys to the franchise to pick Kyler Murray's replacement? I'm not willing to do that today on October 27th. You've got 10 games to change my mind. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, Brian Kelly out at LSU. Yes, it matters to us here in the Valley. That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Ben DiNucci, NFL quarterback. I'm still going to introduce you as NFL quarterback. Being on the practice squad, what's the difference in how you're treated, lifestyle?
Honestly, nothing's different. I mean, there's 53 guys on the active roster and there's 16 on the practice squad. And the reality of the NFL is that guys are going to get hurt. There's a reason that these teams put a lot of effort into the practice squad, just like they do the active roster. It's really all the same. You're still traveling with the team. The pay cut's a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's still great.
Live Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app. Win a brand new Toyota Tacoma when you support Arizona women. That's right. When you enter Fresh Start's Toyota raffle, your ticket purchase provides women access to comprehensive resources on the path to success and gives you a chance to take home a Tacoma SR5 double cab. Thanks to Valley Toyota dealers, all proceeds go directly to helping the women Fresh Start serves. Enter until November 21st. One ticket is $100, 3 for $250. Limited to 1,500 entries. Open to Arizona residents 21 and over. Visit freshstartwomen.org/Toyota raffle.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
¡Listos todos! Estas son las mañanas.
Now we just need to harmonize.
Switch today. Get 4 Samsung Galaxy S25 phones with Galaxy AI. Plus, get 4 lines for just $25 per line. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. For well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Minimum 4 lines on plan. Contact us of canceling lines. Plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This winter, step into a world of wonder at the Tianyu Lights Festival, open from October 24th through January 4th at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, and Phoenix. Explore the 4 new themes: Bugs Aglow, Colors of Holidays, Rainforest, and Prehistoric Animals, which feature 70 glowing handcrafted lanterns. Enjoy delicious foods and beverages at our food court, explore the interactive lanterns, and complete your visit with a trip to the marketplace where you'll find unique souvenirs. Don't miss this unforgettable holiday experience. Tickets are available now.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. NIL hasn't just transformed how players are viewed in college football. It's completely reshaped how coaches are treated. With boosters and collectives now pouring millions into player deals, those same power brokers want to protect their investments. And that means patience is running thin. In this new era of college football, capitalism, money isn't just everywhere, it's disposable. Once upon a time, massive buyouts were supposed to stop impulsive firings. Now, they're just a line item on a booster's balance sheet. Penn State paid James Franklin nearly $50 million to leave. LSU just did the same for Brian Kelly. So that's 8 head coaches fired before November. An unprecedented pace, even by college football's ruthless standards. With more cash and less caution flowing through the sport than ever before, the days of rebuilds and second chances are fading fast. Keep in mind, we still have a few more weeks to go during this college football season. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. It's being called the Golden Bonanza Sweepstakes. Thanks to our friends at Mako, the DP Show, proud to be a part of this, giving listeners a chance to join us in San Francisco for Super Week. That's right, a trip for 2, including round-trip coach airfare, 3 nights, hotel stay, ground transportation, and VIP access to see us do our show. If that's not enough, Mako also giving away 5 free paint jobs and 10 Mako and DP Show swag bags as runner-up prizes. It's really simple to enter. You go to danpatrick.com. The best news, you can enter daily for a chance to win. You can also receive a 25% off coupon to use at any Mako shop. Visit any Mako location now for a free estimate and redeem the coupon. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, go to danpatrick.com for official rules. No purchase necessary. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Open to contiguous U.S. D.C. residents 18 or over. Ends 11/23/25.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
This is what I mean when I say that was a collapse for the ages. An all-time tank job. Not only did the Giants lead 19-0 going into the fourth quarter, they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they still lost. The Giants were 99.8% to win that game, according to ESPN. But according to the Broncos, the number was actually 0.0%.
Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Brian Kelly out as the head coach of LSU, or is he? Do we know if they're still debating on the buyout terms? I saw a video circulating on social media today of him apparently leaving the LSU building with his stuff, but is he officially fired, or how does this work? I know there's a buyout and they're trying to come to terms with that buyout.
I have no idea. I have no idea how it works, to be honest with you.
He's got $54 million, I think, that's owed to him. And so they're deciding on how they want to pay that out. But LSU making a change, going in a different direction. And you may think, Chris, how does something in Louisiana matter to me here in the state of Arizona? How does it matter to me that one of the top programs in the SEC made a change? Well, I think for a couple of reasons. One, I think Brian Kelly's firing is proof of where the college football world is going, because 10, 15 years ago, Brian Kelly goes to LSU, and I think they've won championships. I think they're a powerhouse in the SEC because of the way the rules were written and the NIL and the level playing field that I think we have now in the sport means that, let's face it, a team like Vandy can compete in the SEC again. Missouri can compete in the SEC again. You have these teams where the wealth now is kind of spread around, and these teams can now compete for recruiting. It makes you wonder what was going on before the rules were in place, to why all the talent was concentrated for a couple of schools. But the level playing field has made it to where LSU doesn't have that big of an advantage over these other teams anymore. Alabama doesn't have the advantage over these other teams anymore. There's a level playing field. And so it means you've got to be able to coach your tail off. You've got to be able to keep players happy. You've got to be able to make those in-season adjustments. You have to be a really good tactician. And I'll tell you, do you want to know when I knew it was going to fail for Brian Kelly and LSU? Do you know the moment when I realized for Brian Kelly it wasn't going to go his way and that LSU was going to move on and be back in the coaching search. Do you know when it was, Producer Evan? Do you have an idea?
I really don't.
Do you remember when he first got introduced as the head coach of LSU? You remember this?
No.
You were still in school, I believe, at the time. He gets introduced as the LSU head coach. He gets hired. He's making the move. He flies down there, and he gets introduced during an LSU basketball game. And he gets handed the microphone to speak to the student body. And do yourself a favor during the break, if you don't remember this or you didn't see it. He talks, and he has a fake Southern accent.
Oh, I totally remember this.
That was the moment. You're not authentic. You're not being real. You're not being your true self. LSU hired you to be Brian Kelly. They didn't hire you to be a certain version of Brian Kelly that you thought the LSU fan base wanted. You needed to be authentic. If you are a coach and you are inauthentic, players see right through that. They see right through it. And I wonder if behind closed doors, he was just incredibly inauthentic. And that's what led to this.
I totally remember that. I completely forgot about that. Do you remember the video, too, of like their first recruiting meetings and him dancing around and stuff? That was never him at Notre Dame.
I think 10, 15 years ago, he goes to LSU and finds success. I think in the new model of college football with NIL, with the ability to pay players, with the ability to be open about it, to be transparent about it, there is a level playing field.
The new pro model.
There is a level playing field to the way college sports, specifically in this case football, works. And it means that other teams can compete. Baylor can compete. Missouri can compete.
Vanderbilt
can compete. Trying to think of other teams. Georgia Tech can compete. Ole Miss can compete. All of these teams that maybe aren't in that upper echelon of college program, the Ohio States, the Michigans of the world. Washington can compete. That's the change that has occurred in college football. Now, how does that matter to us here? When smart people speak, I listen. When smart people talk about the sport of college football, who have worked in the sport of college football, who know the inner workings of college football, I stop and listen. I'm going to read you the headline from Bruce Feldman's story in The Athletic. Bruce Feldman, probably one of the top 5 reporters in the sport of college football. This is the headline of his story. Why LSU could turn to Lane Kiffin, Clark Lea, or Kenny Dillingham to replace Brian Kelly. And do you know who the featured image is on the story?
Kenny.
It's Kenny Dillingham. Now, I'm not bringing this up to scare you. I'm not bringing this up to get in front of this and say Kenny's going to leave for a different program. I'm bringing this up to warn you. This is not the first time or last time that Kenny Dillingham's name is going to come up in these conversations. Kenny Dillingham is going to be a sought-after name over the next couple of cycles. And guess what? Do you see some of the jobs that are available? Penn State is available. Florida is available. LSU is available. Virginia Tech is available. UCLA is available. Oklahoma State is available. I didn't mention places like Stanford and Arkansas. Other teams, lot of Power 4 big-time programs. They're going to be looking for new head coaches this offseason. Prepare yourself. Kenny Dillingham's name is going to come up. His name is going to be circled. His name is going to be thrown out there. And while I know what you're going to say, and I'd love to agree with you that because this is his alma mater and because he wants to rebuild this program, that he's going to stay here and he's going to stick it out as a 35-year-old coach to get this program back on the map, you have to wonder if a program like an LSU, a program like a Penn State, a program like an Alabama, or one of these top tier, Ohio State, not saying all these teams are going to be looking for coaches this offseason, but you can't say that it's never going to happen. So you got to prepare yourself. Because in the blurb, in this story from Bruce Feldman, he points out that he is coaching at his alma mater. And he did just get here. This is what, year 3 for Kenny? He's still at the beginning stages of this project. And so it's not as easy to say that he would leave for a big job. But as Bruce Feldman points out in the story, unlike Lane Kiffin, Kenny's not going to be coaching in the playoff. So if LSU wants to act quick, get somebody in here who can start to get the NIL dollars rolling, who can start to get the recruits, the transfer portal rolling. Can you wait for somebody like Lane Kiffin to potentially say no to you and say yes to Florida? Say no to you, but say yes to Penn State? Can you afford to wait? Or are you going to prioritize somebody who's not going to be in the playoff? Eli Drinkowitz in Missouri. They're probably not going to be a playoff team. Could that make sense for LSU? So I'm just saying, prepare yourself. Kenny's name is going to come up.
He's going to be in all these conversations for the next 5 years.
And as It's All Code points out on the YouTube side of things, said a lot of coaches are about to get massive raises to not leave their current schools. That's what's going to have to happen.
We just saw what happened with Cignetti, right? We just saw what happened with Kurt Cignetti.
To make sure he didn't go anywhere.
That same type of thing is going to happen for Kenny Dillingham. And I know it's his alma mater. I know this is his home. I know the passion he has for the program. But eventually, just like there is for anybody, there is a number or there is a job that is intriguing enough.
And I think in this case, it would be more the number than it would be a job that's more interesting. I don't think there's a job on paper that for Kenny right now in this stage of his life is more interesting than putting his alma mater on the map again. Like, I don't think there's a project out there, a team out there that's more interesting than that. But there are teams that can cut checks bigger than the ones ASU can cut.
A lot larger.
And that's the difference, right? To talk about another school here in town, Jed Fish was on track, had ties to the university at Arizona, goes down there, coaches well, programs in a bright spot. Washington comes calling, and they come calling with a lot of money, and they come calling with a lot of resources.
And the difference for a lot of those guys now is I can take everybody with me too.
Right. The transfer portal says, you know what? I hate to say this out loud, but if I'm going to LSU, I could take Sam Levitt with me if I wanted to. Jordan Tyson's not going anywhere because he's going to go into the draft. So Malik McClain could be coming with me. That's the fear. And I'm not saying this, again, at the end of the day, I think it is way too early to say that Kenny would do this. I think Kenny has a tie to this university that's going to keep him here for a long time. And I don't know if LSU is really the job that he would jump at, but I don't know. I don't know Kenny well enough to know what drives him, what motivates him. Is it just coaching at his alma mater? Is it just now that he's got this job, he's not even contemplating everything else? Because this is where he grew up. This is where he went to high school. This is where he went to school. This is where he met his wife. This is where he had a family. That matters. And so I'm not saying he's going to leave, but I'm saying when smart people in the world of college football bring his name up and his name is on the paper, prepare yourself. This is not going to be the last time. Also, this isn't even the first time that Kenny's name has come up. Anytime a coach has been fired since the middle of last year, Kenny's name has come up in conversation.
Yeah, and obviously this coaching carousel is just the craziest one I've ever seen in college football.
Insanity.
And so if there's ever a year, it's going to be this year.
Yes, and I think if you can get through this year,
because
you feel good about Kenny sticking around for a long time.
I would be very willing to bet that Penn State, LSU, and Florida will all call.
Oh, and ready for this? Kenny's going to answer the phone.
Because you do.
And
what do we say on the show?
It is a long-standing lunch break policy. Always listen. And if it means he uses it to get more money out of ASU, more power to Kenny. I don't think he goes anywhere. I really don't. But LSU, Penn State, Florida, all these teams being in the mix, you have to pause and go, okay, got to put the seatbelt on and just buckle up for the ride because it's going to be bumpy.
There will be one, I don't know if he'll take an interview, but there will be a report that says at one point, looks like Kenny Dillingham will interview with, I would hang my hat on that.
I tend to agree. Especially if they win out the rest of the season and they're 9-3 again, 2 straight good years. They go to a decent bowl game. They win that thing. Yeah, I think his name's going to come up. So Brian Kelly out at LSU. What does it have to do with Arizona State? Well, first piece, hot off the presses, naming potential replacements for Brian Kelly at LSU. Kenny Dillingham's name's on that list. That wasn't happening with Herm Edwards. That wasn't happening with Todd Graham.
No, it was not.
It was not happening with those guys. It's happening with Kenny Dillingham.
It means you're doing a good job.
It means you're doing a good job. That's both good and bad. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, we talked about pressure on the coach. Now, how much pressure is there on the quarterback? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
Oklahoma City taking out everybody on their way to a championship. One of the youngest, I think they average 26 years old, Rich. As long as they have the Derek Jeter, Michael Jordan machine, or at least one person on that team, hopefully it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. They have a chance. And listen, it's human nature to be the best and think, I'll be the best again. And then you fall short. I'm going to say Oklahoma City will not go back-to-back.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. As part of the Ford Building Together initiative to build and rebuild communities, Desert Ford dealers and Team Rubicon are helping to rebuild Globe, Arizona following recent flooding. If you'd like to donate to Team Rubicon efforts, visit our website to find a link. Go to donate.teamrubiconusa.org/donation/Ford dealers.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Doesn't it make you feel better?
Only 50% of Arizonans believe their health insurance will cover them in a major medical emergency, like a car accident or an unexpected life-changing diagnosis. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona aims to change that perception. AZ Blue often takes care of more than 99% of hospital charges in major emergencies, protecting you and your family from devastating financial consequences. To learn more about how AZ Blue protects its members, head to azblue.com/true story.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Big savings on top quality meat, produce, seafood, and deli. Bakery fresh breads, cakes, and cookies made daily in store. Low prices on top quality national brands and thousands of our own private label. In every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
'Tis scratches season, and all through the state, the Arizona Lottery is giving people something to celebrate. Grab your friends and gather round for the chance to win $250,000 with cash countdown. Peppermint scented candy cane cash is available at any Arizona Lottery retailer in a flash. Gift these and 4 more games for any reason, because there are more than $80 million in prizes this season. This year and all, we wish you a happy holiday. From Arizona Lottery, love the play.
Every day, reliable, comfortable, connected. Every day you rely on power. At APS, we work around the clock to deliver some of the most reliable power in the country. But with Arizona's extreme weather, outages can happen. Stay safe and informed with alerts by keeping your contact information up to date. And visit our outage center for updates online or on the APS app. For more ways to stay safe and informed, visit aps.com/brighter.
Got hail damage or any damage? Dynasty Collision is here to help, and we're even covering part of your deductible. Thousands are skipping repairs because of cost, but you don't have to. Call Dynasty Collision today, 602-529-3304. That's 602-529-3304.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show, we call it the leftovers, coming up about 10 minutes or so from now. We opened hour number 2 of the show here on the lunch break talking about the pressure over these final 10 games for Jonathan Gannon and if he is under the hot seat. Our determination is that yes, at least for me, he is on the hot seat going into these final 10 games. I need to see something from him in these final 10 for him to get not only the keys to another year, but also the keys to being a part of my decision-making process on the next quarterback of this franchise. I've got to see more than what I've seen through the first 41 games. I need more. So that was our determination on Jonathan Gannon. Now let's talk about the quarterback who Adam Schefter reported today Kyler Murray in line to make his return for the Arizona Cardinals next Monday against Dallas. Producer Evan, I wanted to run this by you real quick. I think that's, without saying it, that's Adam Schefter saying there's no quarterback controversy in Arizona. Kyler Murray's going to be the starter on Monday, which we talked about at the end of last week. We thought was the case.
Yeah, listen, we talked about it. There's just multiple reasons to go back to Kyler Murray, and that's what they're going to do.
So now, with 10 games to go, how much pressure is on Kyler Murray during the second half of the season? Or is his fate already sealed? I do think a lot of the hay is in the barn here, that this team isn't going to make the postseason, and that was the bar. That was all we needed to see from Kyler Murray and this team to say, you know what? You keep JG, you keep Monty, you keep Kyler Murray, you build around this team, you put the investments on the defensive side of the ball. Now you can focus on improving on the offensive side of the ball, upgrading your offensive line on the right side, getting that wide receiver 2 in here, all of those things that we've asked for on offense. You can do that. Make the postseason. You can go into year 4 and make those improvements. If you don't do that, you've got 7 years of failures. You have 7 years where your lone playoff game is potentially the worst moment of your career. You have 7 years of everybody wondering what if. And after 7 years, you don't get the excuses. You don't get to talk about the injuries. You don't get to talk about the supporting cast because you had 7 years to break through. You had 7 years to have that moment that made us all go, yes, that's the franchise quarterback. And I'm sorry, after 7 seasons, haven't had that moment. So I think unless there is a magical run here that gets this team into the postseason, they're 2-5. So what? 8-2, an 8-2 type run from this team to get into the postseason. Think about what I'm asking there. Think about what I'm asking this team to do in the second half after what we've all watched through the first 7 games. I'm asking for an 8-2 finish to the season. After your post-bye last year was a disaster. Your beginning to this year has been a disaster, and I don't see any of the necessary changes that will help this team get to that point because I don't know what you can do about what's going on in the fourth quarter. I don't know about what you can do. I don't know what you can do about not having a wide receiver 2. I don't know what you can do about Marvin Harrison Jr. not being a wide receiver 1 in the way he needs to be for this. I don't know how you fix those things. So I think Kyler Murray's fate is already sealed. But that leads to a really interesting conundrum. Because when the pressure is off and you know that your fate is sealed, and you saw a little bit of this yesterday, and I'll just use my team as an example. But Justin Fields was not going to start that game for the Jets yesterday unless Tyrod Taylor got hurt. That's exactly what happened. Tyrod Taylor had a knee injury that popped up during the week, and Justin Fields ultimately got the start on Sunday and played his best game of the season. Why? Because he knew he had nothing to lose. He was already benched. He'd gotten benched the week prior. He was not going to make that start if Tyrod Taylor was healthy. So he played freer. He played with more confidence. He let it rip. And it led to a 500-yard offensive performance from this team. So could we see the same thing for Kyler Murray? Knowing that his fate is sealed, could we see the best version of Kyler Murray these last 10 games? And yeah, that'll muddy the waters a little bit. Yeah, that'll make some people out there try to convince you that Kyler Murray should come back for another season and remain the franchise quarterback. But that best version of Kyler Murray over these final 10 games could also lead to a massive trade haul for this team in the offseason if he plays that well. So pressure, I don't think there's pressure on Kyler Murray the way that there is on Jonathan Gannon, because I think Kyler Murray's future, his fate, sealed. Unless he puts together, and this team puts together, a almost impossible performance in the second half of the season going 8-2 to save everybody. I think the hay is in the barn. I think Kyler is done. I think we are going to spend our offseason, and there's something fun about this. There's also something not fun about it because you're back in the quarterback market, and a lot of teams spend years in that market trying to figure it out. Spend years in that purgatory trying to get a franchise quarterback, getting an answer at that position. There is some fun, some intrigue about all the different options and where the team might go and what the team might do. Draft a quarterback, trade for somebody, sign somebody in free agency. A lot of different pathways that this team can go. Kyler Murray, though, no pressure. The only pressure he wants to put is the pressure on himself to maybe impress somebody else, take a flyer on him next season, and somebody will. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to impress a future team because I think his fate sealed. We'll see. There may be a world where he plays poorly on Monday and we start having a conversation about him being benched for Jacoby Brissett.
I think it would have to be really bad. It would have to be out of hand bad.
Brian over on the YouTube side of things, haven't heard from Brian in a little bit, said, Chris is leading the charge to axe Gannon. It's not a Gannon thing. It's a Murray thing. You can't win with him. I wish you had the same energy when the topic of Tory's status came up.
Can I say something about Jonathan Gannon?
Sure.
Because I'm tired of this.
I have plenty of thoughts.
What's up with the defense of Jonathan Gannon? For the life of me, I can't understand it.
14-27 as a head coach. 2-5 this season. The last 3 games, they've had leads in the fourth quarter that they've blown. If it's a Kyler Murray thing, why did they lose against Indy? Why did they lose against Green Bay? Kyler Murray wasn't under center for those 2 games. You'd have a real strong leg to stand on if those 2 results were flipped, and we were talking about a Cardinals team going into their bye week 4-3, still in a playoff conversation. But when you lose the 2 games that you did, even with the offense looking better, because I'm the first person to admit the offense looked better with Jacoby Brissett under center, it still wasn't good enough for the results. Why? Because the defense got outscored 44-6 over the last 3 weeks.
The quarterback has gotten, I understand Murray's not great. He's gotten worse under your head coach. Defensive guy, offensive guy, I don't care. The quarterback's gotten worse.
Yeah, I think what everyone is missing here is my stance right now is new quarterback, new coach, and I'm not sure, but I'm leaning towards keeping the GM. But I'm not sure. That's where I'm at here as we roll into Halloween.
This regime has given them a lack of talent when they play other teams and a lack of preparation.
And Matthew summed it up. The leads in the fourth quarter are what does it for me. I want Gannon, but that's just unacceptable. Get your team to finish. That's the problem. And 2 of those 3 games recently are with the other quarterback under center. That's why it's not just a quarterback problem. That's why it's also not just a coach problem. But after 3 years, you don't get to just constantly throw Kyler Murray under the bus because, by the way, you've chosen to stand by him a bunch. That's what makes this a mess, and that's what makes me lean more towards hitting the reset button in a big way here in the offseason. But they've got 10 games to do it, 10 games to prove me wrong.
And I'm sorry, but Murray has had good years. This is a team that, and I'm not blaming the offense, that doesn't push the ball down the field. And in the fourth quarter, we looked at it today, is averaging 5 yards per passing attempt. That is a coaching issue and a belief in what this offense can do. And there is no faith from the head coach. And if you look at the sideline and tell me he hasn't lost that locker room, the one thing that I will always tell you with the Diamondbacks, and listen, I've been a Tory attacker at times. What do they call the Diamondbacks? What did everybody in town call them?
The answer backs.
Right? They don't quit.
Yeah,
they keep fighting.
And that's the difference. The early success that Tory had, the fact that I never once have felt, really, other than the Ketel Marte stuff for a couple of days, felt like the locker room, the clubhouse was ever in danger of being lost. And I don't feel that way with Jonathan Gannon right now, but the results matter. And the early returns are not good. What are you hanging your hat on if you're trying to defend Jonathan Gannon? And I'm not saying that to then defend Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is also a part of this problem. Hence why right now we are talking about a situation where both are going to go at the end of the year. That's what we're trending towards. So we'll see if that's how it plays out over the final 10 games of the season. We got the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to here today on the show. When we come back, it's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
James out west.
Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run, the home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next guy.
Naming a random MLB player that had a good career.
Yeah, dude, I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
The holidays are here, full of joy, family, friends, and yes, a little hustle and bustle. That's why you need Aleve. Between cooking, shopping, and all those extra errands, aches and pains can sneak in. Aleve is here to help with long-lasting body pain relief. Don't let body pain slow you down. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, you can keep up with the season's magic and all that awaits. Pick up Aleve and get back to what really matters, making memories. Use as directed.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters and we kept signing people to contracts and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract, play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
It is very rare for me to know where we're going in the leftovers. Today is one of the days I do know where we're going in the leftovers because I had to put a stop to a conversation we were having during the break because I said, this is perfect leftovers content. You found a story during the break over on Fox Sports that is, I believe, either Joel Klatt from his podcast or he wrote a story or something. And the title of the story is Make Them Say No to $15 million, 4 calls that LSU should make. Something like that, right?
Yeah, there's exactly.
And so I'm going to try to guess the 4 because I said, stop, let's do this on the air. And you said to me, and this is what's kind of throwing my brain into a little bit of a blender. You said, I'm not going to get the 4.
I don't think you'll get all 4 of them.
I would like to submit Nick Saban as a name.
Nick Saban is the number one answer.
That when you said you're not going to get it, I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be somebody who's not currently in the sport. Nick Saban would make some sense. Now, I have 2 names that immediately popped to mind that are currently in the sport coaching.
Okay.
Do you want me to go with the name that...
There's an obvious one.
There's an obvious one.
Like, I think, we've talked, his name has come up today.
Do you want me to say Lane Kiffin and
Yes.
just put him out there as a name?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to save him for the last one, but okay. Yeah, Lane Kiffin. So I've got 2 of the 4, 50% of the way there. I have 2 names, 2 of them still coaching in the sport on my list. Are both still remaining current active coaches?
No, one is an active coach and one is not an active coach.
One is an active coach, one is not an active coach. Now, is there some tomfoolery here with active and non-active?
No.
Okay.
He's a very active head coach in college.
Lincoln Riley was a name that I was going to throw out there.
No, not on the list, but a very interesting one.
Yeah, okay, so not on the list. You want me to throw the other name out there?
Yeah.
I think this would be a poor decision. Bill Belichick? Is he on the list? Okay.
No.
When you said to me, you're not going to get the names, I'm like, they're not going to stupidly put Bill on this list, right?
And maybe I threw you off by saying this, but it didn't even cross my brain that that they would call him. And it makes complete sense. I don't know what his current contract looks like at the school he's at.
So this is it. Okay. I don't know. You're going to have to give him to me.
Yeah, it's Dan Lanning.
Didn't they just give him more money?
I
thought they just gave him more money.
That's what I thought too.
But I don't remember.
But it's not $15 million.
Well, no, certainly. I don't think it's $15 million. So that's the coach in the sport. So somebody who's not in the sport right now.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Saban. Think of legends.
Think of legends in the sport.
Yeah.
No,
of college football.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, yeah.
Urban Meyer?
Yep. Listen, Urban runs. If you want a guy walking around kicking your kickers, then you're good.
Is there a world where Florida thinks about bringing him back?
I was just about to say that. You have to imagine Florida and LSU's first call may both be Nick. After that, if you're Florida, I imagine their next call is Lane Kiffin. And you said it at the break, and I didn't even think of it. But the FAU stuff, like
he has
a guy who's recruited the area, did well in Florida, has their first call should be Lane, and I imagine he'll take it.
He's going to know what high schools to look at in Florida. He's going to know what pockets aren't being paid close attention to that he was able to recruit well at FAU. And that's going to give him an advantage to get there and very quickly bring talent in via the portal, go out there and recruit high school talent, tap into the Florida NIL resources. And I know somebody over there at Florida who's been working very hard on the NIL side of things and trying to beef up that side of the operation there at Florida. And if they can get that thing churning, Florida's a powerhouse. They can dominate the state. I mean, Florida State is a disaster right now. Mike Norvell probably will get fired by the end of the season.
Yeah, and right now Miami's been good. But I guarantee you the Gators would have more of a pull at their best than Miami ever will.
A wild landscape right now in college football, and it's October. What's it going to look like in another month or two?
It's going to be awesome.
Pretty insane. That's going to do it for us here, the Monday edition of the show. Jim Rome, he is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.